after this event, which says this event was pretty crazy. We just wanted to touch on how we felt about the event.
Obviously, it's negative.
Obviously, none of the meat of any of this, when we're talking about the event, is really not the main gist of any of the anger that might come from this. None of this is even a little bit. None of this is even a little bit close to any of the anger that any of us might actually feel towards it. The real craziness that this event really took place was minutes after. That's exactly.
We didn't even talk about
and
that.
That is the
Holy shit!
You didn't realize that?
Holy shit!
You didn't realize that?
No, I mean like
that is the meat of this entire thing. Is what happened next after this.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, like any kind of anger we've displayed during this segment
about
the reveal of this console.
But the thing is, like this podcast is off already.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shit.
I'm okay with the whole thing we talked about. That be an hour, and I do want that next thing we do to be an hour.
I mean, literally, I almost feel like maybe we should just like.
But the point is,
record another episode because shit.
The point is,
I would do a 2 hour.
The point is, what it really came down to.
What we feel about the event.
What it really came down to is that we haven't said anything that Microsoft hasn't said themselves. This is what they're doing to themselves. This is what we're talking about them literally just crucifying themselves.
Literally 90% of what 90% of what we've said. Granted, like we've made a lot of speculations about like what games might be coming out for it. Granted, that's speculation. But 90% of like what you said, 90% of what we've been saying today has been from Microsoft's mouth. Like these are things that they've said. Like this is what's going to happen with this system.
Yeah, mind you, majority of what was said up until right now has literally just been from the event itself.
Yeah,
if you think people are angry from the event,
that's not even.
That's not even got started, bro.
That's not even the problem.
It absolutely pales into comparison for what happens after the event. And I told Craig and I told other people this before this, after this was done, was that they could have had a bad event and I could have been okay with that. Everybody has a bad event here and there. That's fine. They focused on one thing. That's okay. It's the idea that what happens after this event that takes place. Now, this is where, okay, there's no going back. You had a bad event, big whoop, it happens. You can't go back after what was said after this next event.
Yeah.
So what follows a little bit after this event happens maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes after the event was done. Wired comes out, the magazine Wired and the website Wired comes out and states that they have an interview with someone from Microsoft that states that this won't play used games. So this definitely gets the entire internet riled up. Everybody's kind of like up in arms in question of why can't this system play used games? You know, what's going on? So in this actual interview, he states that there's going to be a fee to play used games. Let's say you bring a game to a friend's house, you're going to have to pay a fee in order to play it. Right. So everybody's angry at this. Everyone's mad at this. Something needs to get cleared up. Now, Microsoft support comes out and states that, well, that's not 100% true, that there is no fee. And then someone else from Microsoft says there is a fee, so we're kind of like, what's going on? So finally, this is all cleared up on Kotaku. So we're like, okay, that's fine. Go on Kotaku. Kotaku interviews someone from Microsoft, and he says that, okay, there is no fee. But when you take the actual game, actual disc, bring it to a friend's house, and let's say he wants to play it, well, he then has to pay a fee to play. But this is not one small fee. You just have to pay the full price of the game. So it gets even more work. So it's like, I would have dealt with the fee, because at least a fee is something less. Now you're paying full price.
Exactly.
So you're technically, it is blocking used games in the respect that you're not paying anything new. You will always pay the brand new price if you're letting somebody else use the game.
Honestly, like in a personal sense, like how do you have the balls to come to me and say like, I bought one disc, and the fact that I want to send it to a friend, say, hey, Kosh, I want you to play the new Halo game that I bought. How the hell are you going to have the balls to say, oh yeah, I profited $120 off of this one single disc?
Very much so.
Who the fuck are you to say that?
Very much so. And the thing that's crazy about this is their excuse to say, well, you could sort of fix it, is that, well, if you want to play it at a friend's house, you can bring your account over. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Akasha. You could bring your account.
Well, it's like on Xbox Live. Basically, everything is tied to your Windows Live account.
Yeah,
so what happens is,
work.
if I go to Craig's Xbox and I go on Xbox Live and I hit recover account, I would just put in my password to my account, and it would recover my account onto his hard drive. Basically, that's it.
Right, yeah. So basically what it's saying is that all your games are gonna be linked to your actual account and not actually to your system.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is here's how I feel they'll do it. They'll basically you buy the game, and when you do, there's an activation code. You put in the activation code, and now it's tied to your account. Similar to how like the PlayStation has done it. Get minus the fact that the generosity of being able to share with people.
Right.
And after that, they were saying that you can give people on the same Xbox permission to play the game, I believe. But no matter which way you look at it, this is also just giving them permission too. And this is still on the same Xbox.
Yeah, to me, I mean, they have, like I said, like you've been saying, they have said that they will facilitate some sort of idea in having you been able to share a game that you've already purchased with a friend of yours.
I don't think so.
That's the thing. No, they have said that they will.
They have said that.
They haven't said any sort of specifics, but they said they will. They are trying to implement a way to share your game.
You can. And the way they said you can was simply by bringing your account over. And I could ask Akash, when you bring your account over to somebody's house in order to have them play, let's say, a downloadable game that you own, when this whole account recovery thing happens, can you then go home and actually play your Xbox with the same
that's a big thing. That's a big
or
thing.
do you have to do this whole recovery thing once it's taken off on the platform?
I believe now it's usually you have to recover your account back onto your Xbox,
but
it's actually a very, very quick process.
Okay,
it used to be long. It used to take you like 20 minutes to download your account onto another person's Xbox.
The thing is, I mean, I understand that. Like, that's cool though.
It's like, literally blah 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 at hotmail.com, whatever. Put in your password.
It's cool. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, hey Edwin, you want to play this game? Sure.
And there actually used to be.
My name and says, okay, yeah.
There actually used to be a way around the licensing for downloadable content.
Like, to me, like if they implemented a system maybe that said like, hey, you know, I have like this code, the Xbox Live in general knows that this code belongs to me.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I want to give you permission to use it. So I give you some sort of information that they send me, and then you go ahead and write on your system saying like, yeah, I know this information because I know he wants me to give it to him, and then now I can download this and I can play it.
Nah, see, I get what you're saying, but I honestly don't think it'll be that easy.
Me neither. I don't. But if they did something like that, maybe maybe it'd be okay.
I think that it's going to be limited to the console only.
I agree. I agree completely.
This is what's already been confirmed. Is that you can't send the account to somebody else's house. That's 100% confirmed, just like you can on 360. Now, the biggest problem I have is, let's say you do this to let a friend borrow a game that you own. He could then play it on his account. But then, clearly you can't play your account. So it's not just,
pretty much, yeah.
It's not just saying...
It's literally, I don't have this game anymore.
Thank you. It's not saying, well, I can let my friend just borrow this one game. You're letting your one friend borrow the ability to play any games on your platform.
Right.
Because all your games are tied to this account. It's different with Xbox Live because the games that are tied to your account... Now,
if we were to theorize that this is how it works, you're essentially saying, I'm not just letting you borrow the disc anymore like it was. And when I let you borrow my account, I can't be using it.
Exactly.
And given the fact that everything is tied into my account, I can't even be on my fucking console anymore.
That's exactly what it seems like. This is how it
works. It's exactly going to be that way. Only because the next tidbit we got to understand is soon after they announced this thing with the used games and Kotaku confirmed it, a little bit after that, it was confirmed through another website and through Microsoft themselves that the system is install only.
Right.
You get the disc, it does not play off of the actual Blu-ray drive itself. It simply uses it to install it on the hard drive. Once it's installed on the hard drive, it's now linked to your account. So every disc-based game you get, almost consider it like an Xbox Live game now, because it's now tied to your account. This is a little bit different from if you're just doing it for Xbox Live games, because now technically they're all digital games anyway. So once it's tied to that account, you'll take your disc, bring it to your friend's house. He is now playing your account. But because every game you have is tied to this one account now, it means you can't just go home, pop in your Gears of War, Halo 5, what have you. You can't do that. Once you try to do that, you can't play the game.
Yeah.
So they're essentially saying you can, but you won't be able to use your system.
But the question is, does it stop there? Is it just leaving you just at not being able to play the game? Because think about it. In order to play any of your games on your console, you need to be online at least once every 24 hours. So am I going to be like, hey, Ed, bro, you can borrow Halo 5 as long as you give me my account back in like 23 hours or whatever.
I kind of only just thought about this right now.
Essentially.
I only thought about this right now, but it's another problem. Me and my brother, we used to share systems. I used to have my gamer tag on my PS3, and my brother shared my PS3, and he had his own gamer tag on my same PS3. But what you're telling me is, say I buy Halo, whatever, Halo 6 a million, right? I buy this game. I install it on my account because I want to play it. Now, my brother, who shares the console with me, cannot have his own name. He cannot go online and participate in this game under his own name because now this game is tied to my account.
Yes. So
it is impossible. I cannot go online and say, hey, I'm Kid Koopa, and my brother, he always has the name All Day J.
Is that a good idea? Giving out people's gamer tags and shit?
That's gonna get harassed. No.
Whatever. I can say decline.
I'm famous.
But I can literally say, me and my brother we can't share a system now.
What you're basically saying is that you're Kid Koopa, and when you register a game to your account and your brother borrows it, he has to be Kid Koopa.
Exactly. Yeah. He has to be me. Which is fucking retarded.
They did that with Gears of War, and they did that with a whole bunch of.
But to me, it's like there are sibling households. Not everyone has a system that's only dedicated to themselves.
Well, it's not even just that. It's counterintuitive to the philosophy they've put out that this is supposed to be an entertainment hub for the family room. This is fucking bullshit because it's not.
No, I mean, like,
I agree because how is that for the family when?
I mean, like literally, that's
when you're
just
showing this.
I've had so many problems with this already. That's just a new one that I literally just thought of right now. My biggest problem with it is that it's counterintuitive to console gaming in general. Yes. The whole beauty of console gaming is the fact that we literally come together as people. Like, you're a fellow console gamer, you're a fellow console gamer. I can say, hey man, have you played this game? You're like, no, I'm really not interested. I'm like, dude, you really need to play this. Like, dude, you really need to play Infamous, man.
Yeah, and you don't need to go through the trouble of installing it.
Exactly. Here, man, just take this disc, play this game. I guarantee you'll fucking love it. Guess what happens? Infamous 2 comes out. Guess who's gonna buy it now? Akash is gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it because I've already loved it. I gave it to Akash. He fucking loves it. Guess what? He's gonna buy Infamous 2 now. So all of a sudden, like, you're gaining another customer. You're gaining another loyal customer. Like that to me is a part of the beauty of console gaming. And Microsoft is deliberately removing that from the equation. Like, you just cannot do that. Not only can you not do that with a sibling in your own household, like, I just can't do that in general. It's freaking stupid.
They've stated that any game that's locked onto the account can be played by another person, but realistically, they didn't go into grave detail and say, like, yeah, when they go online, they'll have their own tag. It's very likely they won't. So
no, I mean, you're literally saying that it's going to be tied to a single account. To me, a single account means a single gamer tag.
Well, so, they've already stated that the other people that are on the account can play that game. Mm-hmm. As to whether they could use that name online, I'm not sure. They didn't go into great detail.
But I mean,
if 360 already does this, if 360 already sort of does that same thing, then that's how they're gonna do it.
Does what?
But the whole profile thing, having to actually have
literally,
the way they said it, it sounds like you don't need to do that.
Here's what happens.
They said it is you could have multiple profiles.
Here's how this works.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kosh is the 360 expert.
So when you buy a game online, oh god. So say I'm over here at Craig's house. Craig decides to buy Limbo off the XBLA arcade or whatever. I just said Xbox Live arcade. But anyways, so when you get that game, that purchase is now tied to your account.
Right.
Now the thing is, if it's a cute little trick you can do. If I were to be at my house and you put the points on your account to buy that game and don't buy it, and then I recover your account and purchase that game, it is now tied to your account, but it's on my Xbox first. And then you recover your account back, and you can re-download it. Boom, we both have Limbo. That is what people have been doing for a long time, and that's what I'm curious.
That's a slick little trick.
Yeah, it is a slick little trick, but it's something.
Clearly, Microsoft already knows about this.
They obviously know about it.
Clearly, they're going to do something about it next generation.
You think? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
now, my curiosity is like,
how is this? They're so strict on used games. Lord knows they
that. Believe me.
Yeah. I'm not saying that this is something you can do, but I'm saying this is where it's partially originating from too, as well, because you have to understand how
But the thing is, though, same thing.
We don't know the specifics of how Xbox Live account recovery and the Xbox Live details, the way your account is housed and everything like that, how that works anymore. That's where we can't make any inferences.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, we're saying all these things. We don't have concrete proof on like exactly how they're going to handle it, but from the way that they're actually speaking about it, these are the things that we can infer. These are the things that like I can assume that are probably going to happen.
These are things to assume because A, they've already done it. B, they already stated that.
It's like, I mean,
games.
how,
C, they're saying
how can I assume otherwise? You haven't given me any information.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying against that.
No, I agree. No, I agree that you're not.
That's definitely
anyway defending it. You're basically just stating what we can do now.
Yeah.
And like we said, obviously there's going to be.
I personally think
there's going to be fail-safes to actually stop certain things like that from happening.
I think it'll be a lot more locked in than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And because
which to me,
you already know what this is. We're going to block games.
Which brings about another point that I kind of wanted to bring up is the whole rental gaming market. You have websites like GameFly. You have systems like Redbox. These things are not going to be able to hold Xbox One games anymore.
Yeah, but
it's just impossible.
Remember, that's also Microsoft's loss more than it is Redbox's loss.
It is. No, is it though?
Yeah.
Because I mean, literally, granted, it might be because all that comes down to is how many people actually do buy the Xbox One and do not buy anything else.
Yes.
Because if people just buy the Xbox One, say all three of us just buy Xbox One, GameFly and Redbox just lost 3 customers just like that.
But remember that console sales have been more of it's been over a period of time thing. Everybody loves to pout about how their launch sales were and how well their product sold in the first week or two or whatever like that. But where the real sales come from is over the period of time stretching past the 3, 4, 5 years mark. Like look at this console generation lasted like what? Like 7 or 8 years, right?
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah.
And that is a long time. And you're going to tell me after 2 to 3 years, people know what the fuck's going on. They know what they want. They know which one they're going to pick. It's not even like a question of like, oh, yeah, you get caught up in the launch hype or whatever. When it comes right down to it, there's going to be thousands upon thousands, if not millions of customers who are making these decisions on what console they want to buy about a year or two after everything's said and done.
Yeah.
And when it comes right down to it, I don't think people will be buying an Xbox One after 2 years when they can't bullshit them anymore.
Because based off of what was kind of said, or based off of what happened after the press conference, you just got this instant, absolute backlash. And I don't even think it's just wild media. I don't really think it's just hysteria. I don't think it's just media going out there and looking for a witch hunt. It's like, look, you got really good gaming websites, IGN, Kotaku, Wired, Edge, you name it, all coming out, and everybody has their own articles. And mind you, we're just talking about the whole used game thing. We didn't even jump on the idea that you have to install these games every single time you play them. We haven't even brought up that you can't swap out the system. Can't swap out the hard drive. We haven't brought up so many of these other bad features on the system, and that's a lot of the hate got generated within that first hour from just one news story. So if you consider one news story did this, and then 2 more come out talking about, oh, well, not only can't you play used games, but you can't take out the hard drive too. It's install only too. You can't even play off of the drive. You have to install it. And you need internet just to turn on the game. Now, all these were all separate stories. Everything I just told you was a separate story. Just kept progressing. This isn't good news.
Yeah,
everybody's pissed off. So this is not
Microsoft like to talk about how, you really don't need the internet to actually play your games. You do. You kind of do. You do. I mean, like, it's not that, granted, once you have the game all set up and good and done, you won't need the internet anymore. But when you first buy your freaking game, you're going to need the internet. You have to download these games from somewhere. So, I mean, you're going to need the internet, and it's like...
Or you have to install the game.
And when you install the game from somewhere.
When the game's installed onto the hard drive, there's a verification code that has to be authorized. And once it authorizes that code, you have to be online. Mm-hmm. And even if I would want to say, you know what? I feel like going offline to play this game. You can.
You can, yeah.
For 24 hours.
Oh,
within 24 hours, you need to log into the system.
That I did not.
You didn't know?
Now,
I did not.
Yes, and this is why I'm telling you guys all this, is if we all covered this, and Craig doesn't even know that. And all of us equally covered this.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
what is that? I got to tell you this.
Okay.
This is what's so crazy about this.
There's some
What does
information
that-
that's
what-
a little bit hard to find.
Yeah.
Well, no,
That's-
it's
that's-
not.
that's
It's
exact-
not. It's
that's
not
exactly-
in the respect that you think.
No, but the point that
What's
I think
crazy-
Akash was going to bring up and that I kind of feel too is that
Don't get me wrong.
there's so much things going on that so many people are actually confused about what this like to the point that you actually
Look,
said that to me like
it's-
literally like we were talking
Look,
for like a good little bit before we actually started this podcast.
It's grade A misinformation. Here's what it is. The pattern goes by that we're gonna have our conference and we're gonna unveil our major our points, right?
Right.
Our what is this console gonna be about? What are the main features? And we're gonna put out all the positive stuff. And then we're gonna probably just slip out some maybe minor details like you can't swap with the hard drive after through these possibly text-based articles.
the problem
like,
with
like,
this
to
is-
me it's like how does everyone feel about that? Like literally I did not know about that feature until just
Yes.
now. There's so much hidden information
Yes,
behind
and
this
the-
thing.
and the problem
that
I
is
have-
it's so awful.
Is I understand that information is a small tidbit. Not every single last person knew all these small pieces of information. But the problem that I'm having in terms of how it's being handled is that you're not hearing this from Microsoft.
Exactly.
You're hearing this
That's
from
what- that's
Kotaku.
what I
You're hearing
guess
this from
that's probably
IGN.
across.
You're hearing this from Wired. You're hearing this from everybody else. Now, what happens when somebody from a bigger corporation, from a bigger news outlet, wants to make an expose on this system? What happens then when you start kind of hearing that, well, you have an hour press conference. Let's say you need an extra hour to say the rest of these features. That's fine. But even more so, you had a whole special on game trailers. Why didn't you use that little special to say, by the way, there's a little bit more features we need to talk about?
It's never,
We personally didn't need to have them flush out everything they did on EA games and having them come out and speak. We could have took 5 minutes off of that to say, hey, look, these are the features of the system.
to me, like you said, if someone decides to come out like a big expose on something like that, to me, if you are talking about just like simple features, questioning about how things are actually going to work, and you literally have to come at me and say either no comment because you're afraid to say something bad, what does that say about your system in general?
Yeah, and that's
Like,
exactly how I felt. I felt that they didn't want to say
The,
these
the
things on
idea
air.
the idea that comes to mind is that everything about this whole thing that I've been thinking about during this entire cast is that the proof is in the pudding and the philosophies in the design. If you look at it from no matter which way you look at it, the very design philosophy of this console and the way they've gone about presenting it is beyond like what's the word?
Stupid.
Crazy.
Ugly, stupid, but
Mentally retarded.
It's dishonest. It's straight up dishonest. That's what it is.
I don't want to say dishonest because they did tell you. I feel it was unethical. There's
the
a,
thing is,
there's a
it
sort of amount.
was dishonest because they did not actually say it
No,
until
it
they
is
absolutely fucking
dishonest
had to.
because they aren't necessarily lying to you in your face, but they're actually
telling
leaving.
you. They're
They're
leaving
they're
out.
indirect.
As I say, your boy,
They are indirectly telling you
your girlfriend is
details.
literally cheating on you right now, but because she didn't tell you until she asked, it's not dishonesty. That's what it comes down to. That's what it's like you're telling me.
What do you know, Greg?
No, I'm just
What are you getting
I'm just
at,
trying to make a
Greg?
simile. It's
What
like,
are you supposing, Greg?
Where were you during this cast? Wait a minute.
just because I came to you and didn't ask you about it and you didn't say it does
I
not
understand.
make
I
it
understand.
does not make it not
I
dishonest.
understand.
You're still being dishonest.
It is absolutely deceptive. It is downright.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking
That's
for.
a better
It is
word
very
for it, yeah.
deceptive.
I kept saying like this.
The only word is dishonest.
It's disconcerting.
But
It's disconcerting.
with everything that was said afterwards, it really is. This is what this console really is doing with people. People are second guessing, and the problem I have is they're second guessing Microsoft. If you gotta launch a system and somebody got to go on Kotaku to read what the hell your system is doing new, there's a problem that they didn't come to you
Yeah,
about.
and it's like
Now-
I said, it's all about the little details, like the fact that we were talking about. The Xbox One is 8 gigs of RAM, PS4 is 8 gigs of RAM, but the Xbox One is 3 OSs, and you knock out the 3 gigs of RAM,
Right.
and you're actually using 5 gigs for games.
Yeah.
It's that
And
same
the
sort of
DDR3
thing.
and DDR5
Wha-
is like super
Now,
different.
granted, I understand there are certain things you just can't say flat out for business reasons, but
Well, yeah.
the real fact of the matter is, when you do so many of these things, they compound into this personality
point
that
is,
you
like-
put out, and it's actually pretty obvious. This is more than just like a subtle business maneuver. This is really like right in your face.
Exactly. Like there's a difference between subtle business maneuvers and like, holy fuck, how the hell can I trust you?
In your classic Survivor blindside. That's what I feel like is a classic Survivor blindside.
Like Microsoft might as well go on in the contest and be like, I'm gonna get you. They're like, oh, Microsoft, I can't wait to take all your money.
Well, watch when they go out there.
They don't really shouldn't.
I can't wait to take all your money.
They shouldn't even have done a conference until after they release their console and waiting for people to buy that shit. Be like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, he's like,
no, that would be the funniest thing. If after this, the day after the system release, this was when they decided to tell you that it doesn't play this game. You have to install everything on the system. Can't swap out the hard drive. Has to be online every 24 hours. This is when all this shit should have been said. It was dead ass. Like a year after the system releases. Like everybody already knows it, but they formally say something that. Like it comes to our
which is what the Microsoft executives are talking about right now. We're like, damn it, man, they figured it out.
Exactly.
How did they know? How did they ask those questions? We talked about television. Exactly. But how did they get to the freaking DRM?
He's gonna be like, I'm not understanding. We told you guys it was online. Come on, guys. Now, if you look at the interview with Adam Sessler with one of the
that's a good interview to look at.
If you look at that interview, he kind of flat out asked them, and they kind of sidelined it with some other fucking questions. Like, look, if you're gonna block used games, just say you're blocking it. You didn't need to go the other way and be like, well, with today's technology. He asked him about the always online thing. He goes, well, today's technology, like my cell phone, people are always online. People are always doing this, that, and the third. Never really addresses. Yeah, we know people are always online. But what's really being asked is about the requirement. Are we required to have this?
Yeah, and
instead of just saying, yes, every 24 hours you have to log in, instead they're stating, well, everyone's already online. That's how the question seems to be being answered.
It's always becoming like this logical fallacy. The thing is, I think a lot of people they'd feel a lot better if they were to just openly state what you can and cannot do with this console, because it isn't necessarily the fact that like, okay, yeah, you, I, Craig are against this whole always online business. And there's a lot to be said about that. But when it comes right down to it, there is actually a large amount of consumers that are the non-vocal majority that actually don't give a fuck because they don't think about it as much and they don't realize. And if they were to actually just tell you what you can and cannot do with it, people would more or less probably still buy the console, because when you take this approach to where you dance around the point, even the people who weren't going to think about it before are now feeling like this is kind of suspicious behavior.
Yes, I agree.
And that makes them think about it. They would have been better off just saying, yeah, okay, you always have to be online once every 24 hours.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't be as suspicious that way.
It's sort of like.
But when you dance around the point and make it seem like there's something going on here.
Yeah. And not being upfront about it makes it more so that it's a bad thing. If you're not upfront about it, makes it sound like what is so bad about this you don't even want to publicly say it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
it's like when you meet a woman and she has like a wedding ring, but she never seems to talk about her husband. You're just like what?
Lori, thank you. She wanted to do, bro. That's all I'm trying to say. But Shane knew she was married. I'm just playing. What girl wanted to do? All right, we'll get into that.
Okay, we won't get into that topic, but I will. I do have one statement. I do believe Andrea is a horse face.
Thank you.
Fucking horse face.
I'm the only one that feels this way. That she looks like some sort of cross between a mule and a racehorse.
She's a fucking horse face bitch. I hate her. I don't like her.
I'm not the only one that believes she looks like an animal.
I think that she is such a fantastic actor that if I were to meet her in real life, I'd still hate her.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
That's not all. But
doing good things over there.
We're gonna call that shit out of that.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that another time. But
no, leave it in.
And I agree with what you guys are saying in terms of how the system was this marketed poorly.
Yeah, it's presented poorly.
You have to sometimes you have to really honestly bite the bullet and just say it. Just say it.
Yeah, you have to be confident about what you're doing. Yes. You can't just be like, you have to be confident about what you're doing.
Well, with everything shown and everything that was said during the press conference, I don't think it would have been that bad if they just came out and stated, okay, because your system's always online, you have to log in every 24 hours, but that won't be a problem because you're always online. With this new infrastructure, you could play your games any single time without having to have your library of disk used because it's all on your hard drive. If you kind kind of presented it that way. It's saying, you don't have to get up to swap a disc. You could just stay in bed, tell your Xbox to turn on, and go through a library of games without physically. If you said it like that, you kind of at least say, look, we're justified because we wanted to have you store your games in your heart.
Exactly.
If you go with that approach, that's fine. But because they never say this
that's just clever marketing.
You can't.
You're over amplifying the good points of it.
Yeah, like I don't think that you can ever blame a business for only talking about the good points of what they're doing.
Because, I mean,
and that's what I'm saying.
Also talk about the negative
exactly.
About the product.
And that's okay. Nobody's gonna give anybody shit for that.
iPod because you already have all these CDs. It's like when Apple first released the iPod, they didn't say like, oh man, you know, you already have all these CDs, but if you want, you can have it all right here. It's like no one said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it from being a bad product.
And like, why would you? Exactly. But in this case, it's just like,
in this case, I feel that they should have at least brought it up in some regard. Agreed. Just to say that, hey, look, we weren't being sneaky. Because what you're now telling us is console gaming history. Mm-hmm. You don't fucking make console gaming history in one interview and say, oh yeah, by the way, it's an install-only system. That's something that is so damn deceptive that you might have lost any trust you might have ever had from any of your old crowd. Because I don't know who's going to be bending over for a couple IPs that the studio is making.
How people are looking at this now, I was like, damn, what if that guy didn't ask that question? Like, I would have been sucker. Like, I didn't even know this was going to happen.
And like, they always try to divert it. It's like the thing with Adam Sessler you're talking about. He asked him about Always Online, and they were just like, hey, Adam, do you like the Miami Heat?
How do you feel about the Mavericks this year? They lost. No, I feel that it was.
Do you like money?
When he did the interview, it wasn't found.
Here's a bag. No, shut the fuck up.
It wasn't found out through that interview. Adam Sessler was actually talking about the interview that happened on Wire like an hour prior to that. So he was discussing what was already, read.
Adam Sessler's the man.
With the Wire
he always
stuff,
will be.
which I do like Adam Sessler.
Adam Sessler gets a bro fist up.
If you look at the stuff with Wired and how they came about this information, I don't think they just asked and they gave. I think that they went to them and they had an interview. Through this interview, it was explained that this is what they're doing with the system. I actually think they literally went to these interviewers and said, we are going to tell them what is wrong with this system, as opposed to saying it on air. I don't really think somebody hunted and kind of beat it out of them. I believe that they knew that day when they got an interview, they were going to reveal that, our system has to be online, and it's also a mandatory install-only system. You can't swap out the hard drive and all that other fanciness. That was the gap.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
Oh, shit.
With all the news that was said and all the craziest thing about this is if you look at how bad that this day was, people could look at that as bad as something subjective. Some people may think that, some people may not. If you look at the whole Twitter stuff and they have the little hashtag thing to see how many times it was hashtagged in terms of good or bad, people hashtag, I think GameSpot had something on their site where they had a little tally thing that would say who was for and against a specific system. 4,000 people.
They need to change that, man. GameSpot.
I always get
two letters mixed up. You got a completely different thing.
One's you stop at, one's a spot. So during this whole craziness,
I did not know that.
And of 4,000 Twitter followers who I guess follow the site, all of them, 89%, I think it was 89 or 90%, did the hashtag of we're buying a PlayStation 4 over a 720 after this reveal. So you have 4,000 people, 90% is saying it. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That is really crazy to say that much people just went, no, we're going to go this route just because of this. Even more nuts is you would think that, okay, that's just one Twitter thing. I mean, it's not the entire world. It's not everybody. If anybody just goes on any website, go on any website and read the comments. And let's be real. You could tally up positive to negative comments. Negative will always win.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a single damn person who plays console games who's going to say, yeah, it's okay to not buy these games. It's also okay to have my games installed somewhere and never physically own them. And it's also okay that I can't swap out the hard drive. And it's also okay that I have to be online.
Granted, as ugly as the Microsoft press conference is, 9 times out of 10, no matter what you're talking about, negative is always going to trump positive.
Yeah.
I mean, but like,
okay.
Somebody's
But
okay.
I will give Microsoft the benefit of the doubt.
It is
I
because
say this about the press conference, and the only reason why I say this about the press conference is that that could turn to something positive if more games are shown at E3. But that was before we found out what was going on.
Yeah.
Now,
that's one thing we disagreed on.
Yes.
I hated the conference.
I don't like the press conference, but look, the press conference is not that bad. It's even salvageable if everything announced wasn't announced. If they didn't say all that crap that happened later on after the press conference,
basically,
this would have been
E3 is the same thing as the Microsoft press conference. It's gonna be bad shit.
It would have just been a bad press conference. Now, a bad press conference was just something. Okay, this year it was bad. That's fine. We always get a bad press conference here and there. You're announcing this system will be bad forever. What's being said after this is not, well, this press conference for today it does this. No, this is a feature that is forever in this system. So what makes it far worse is it really doesn't matter what happens at E3. From this moment on, you either want the system or you don't. Mm-hmm. It's not, oh, well, they're showing Crackdown and they're showing Fable as an MMO. It's
Crackdown, I forgot about that.
It's they're showing DRM. They're showing you can't play used games. They're showing you can't swap out the hard drive. They're saying you gotta be installed every 24 hours or else. Mind you, they don't even say what the or else is. So when you go and you say all this negativity, I'm not sure if games fixes that problem. Because the problem with the system isn't games. The problem with the system is what it represents and what it's doing or lack thereof of what it's doing. That's the biggest problem of it. And if you're going to continue this route, I don't think anything could save them. Because even if you want to say, hey, look at all the games you got, is Sony not going to have games too? Even if they want to say, man, look at all these great exclusives we not have, is third parties not already ready to show off what's going to happen next year for this console? For both consoles? I mean, you have to understand, Ubisoft is still yet to show their Rainbow Six next-gen version. There's a whole bunch of companies that are yet to show off their next gen of anything. So E3 is going to be great for games, not just Microsoft. They won't be the only ones there. So with everybody collectively there all showing off their next gen muscle, it's hard to go with the system that's saying they're stopping used games.
I want to pose a question to both of you real fast. I mean, I haven't really thought about it myself either, but with this whole DRM fiasco and how it's being perceived by the public, how do you think that's going to actually affect the third-party market? Do you think that more people are going to stray away from releasing their games on the Xbox because of all this? Or do you think that things are just going to kind of like stay the same and everyone's going to release their systems for every available console?
I think that I don't think that people will necessarily stray away from releasing on that platform, because no matter which way you look at it, you make a multi-platform title, you're making a multi-platform title. Chances are it's going to be more profitable than just making an exclusive game. The problem, however, is that there may be some long-term statistics that show that maybe that your fan base isn't as big as it used to be because people it's not growing because they're not getting a chance to play a used game and try it out.
Right.
When somebody's going to try your game out, chances are they bought the whole fucking thing, or they just grabbed your friend's entire Xbox and brought it over to their house.
In other words, Square releases Final Fantasy 15 for PS4.
Like, say you have both consoles,
but might not release Final Fantasy 16 for both.
Yeah,
I look at it like
just think about that. Just think of how silly that is. You have a PS4 and you have an Xbox One, and I'm like, there's a game on the Xbox One that I want to play. I'm like, hey, Craig, can I borrow that game from you? And you're like, sure. And I just go, I grab the whole fucking thing, rip it out of the wall. I'm just gonna take this home now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. So with that, and what Akash is saying is 100% correct.
No, it is.
That nobody's gonna want some shit like that.
Yeah.
Now, if per se, Square comes out and they want to release it as a multi-platform game and they're already going multi-platform crazy, when they do get the numbers back and figure out that, okay, we might be selling less or not everybody's, jumping on this platform like they used to, people need to understand that Final Fantasy 13 never released in Japan for the 360 simply because that system was installed in there. It didn't make sense to waste
No, hell no.
That's another thing, man.
Now have the question, do they want to go back on this platform or waste the time and the money developing?
Right before you said that, I was thinking about that.
Even more or less than
this.
How much,
and a lot of times these big games are actually developed separately for two consoles.
Not
sometimes
only were you already not selling in Japan, do you really think making this move is all of a sudden you are now going to sell your consoles worldwide?
Fucked up. Look at it like this.
Like where
Japan,
besides North America, besides the United States, and other first world countries.
First world countries.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, brothers. I don't know, man. I've been playing Halo. I'm placing a lot of people from fucking Somalia.
Yeah,
UK.
Yeah, on just Gen.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay,
But
besides that,
next gen,
I'm just
where are you gonna see
fucking.
these third world countries?
I'm just fucking around there. But like, what I'm saying is that I think that other than the United States, the Xbox is probably like okay popular in like the UK. But I'm thinking UK is more PlayStation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the point I'm trying to get at is, granted, Xbox has only been really
their
powerful
biggest
in
install
the United
base.
States.
Yeah, because it's an American company.
Right,
It's
it's an
marketing
American
that.
company.
They're-
It's an American product.
It's just the ideals that they've already had as a company,
Yeah.
and the ideals that they've pushed towards the
Yeah,
system.
but the point I'm getting at is, like this isn't helping. Like
No,
this is like how are you
It's not for
planning
many
on
reasons.
actually getting people
Like,
to
the
buy your
international
console
market. I got you.
worldwide?
I got you, and I have a theory on this. My theory is that they've given up. They don't care to, because if you think about it, one of the biggest kind of demands or biggest questions about the rest of the world regarding the system is, A, why aren't they buying it? They're Japanese games releasing for it, and B, what's the problem? It's because Xbox Live. Xbox Live is so popular, and Halo first-person shooters aren't really popular in Japan. So when you have a type of genre that's not popular there, on a service that doesn't even get used there, on a system that's from the West, you just have a whole trifecta of nobody give a fuck. So when you're in Japan, this is what it is. So if you're trying to release in Japan, and publishers don't care to make games on your
I want
platform,
to quote that.
you're
Quote that from you.
Thank
The
you.
trifecta of nobody.
that's like, oh my god, thank you.
Thanks. No, you're at a point where people are not going to want to jump on this platform like they were before. So when you say, oh yeah, you need an internet connection, it's almost like saying, yeah, you need an internet connection, America. We want you buying the system. I'm saying this while I'm looking at Akash to make him know that he's not getting the system. It's like if Akash was cheap, never went online, never fucking like bought brand new games. You know what I would have said to Akash?
Yeah,
I would have been like, Craig, oh my god, I made you the best system while looking at Akash. You have to be online to play it. It can't play used games, Akash. If I'm saying this, okay, and I'm looking at Akash and I'm saying this, would you not believe that I meant maybe that Akash wasn't a customer anymore? The customers that are mine are the people that go online and pay for their content. Now, that's what it seems like they're trying to do. Because if you think about it, if you're online, it's required to play online, it means you're paying for Xbox Live. You're buying content off of Xbox Live.
Yeah.
And it also means that on top of you're getting a live service, because you kind of fucking have to, if you're already getting a live service with them, that's already will and deal. That's already happening.
That's another thing I kind of want to talk about. Is like, does this almost mean like live is almost a necessity?
I mean,
to like
they
access
haven't.
this content?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so for one reason. Simply because live is something you have to do to go online, to play Netflix, but to go online in general, like to go online to play games.
Right.
To my understanding, Internet Explorer can be used on the Xbox 360
Well,
without a live
they've
account.
had
You
it.
need
They've
a
had to
live
work.
account?
Hold on. They've had to work two separate ways.
You need a live
There's-
account for it?
No.
What's
Well,
up, bro? Come at me.
because yeah, the fuck.
You're right, man. Shit.
I'm sorry.
This is why I took the gun away from you, Dilbert. Jesus Christ.
Gosh.
Now, Xbox Live, you either have a gold account, which you pay for, or you have a silver account. And basically, a silver account can be used to go onto Xbox Live and do some minor things, like browse the marketplace, that kind of stuff, because they want to still have that market accessible to people who don't necessarily pay for Live, I believe.
So if
However,
you buy stuff off of Silver.
I'm pretty sure you can buy stuff off the marketplace off silver, because why wouldn't you be able to?
Honestly, what business would restrict people from buying things?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Sorry. They wanna-
it is them.
They're gonna do anything for you to get
But yeah,
money.
your Xbox Live Gold account basically enables you to be in like party chats, play online multiplayer, that kind of stuff like that.
Okay. So in that respect, I think that's a no. I don't think it's required.
I think that you can. I would go so far as to say I still think you can even text chat and do all that kind of stuff with silver with a silver account.
I don't think they'll push that hard because they're already kind of pushing too hard in the initiative.
They don't need to, because the thing is, chances are if you own an Xbox One and then the focus of this console is to be online and you don't have Live, there's a very high likely chance that you will probably be a Live subscriber at some point in time after that.
No, I agree. No,
Because you're already like, fuck, I already paid like $400 for this shit. Another $50 not going to break the bank. Please, let me just redeem.
That question just so we can
because
actually go ahead and
it's like
answer
that consumer
But I
perspective where they're like they pay money and then they pay even more money because they want to feel like they want to justify their purchase. And they want to redeem it.
I mean, that's
No,
just
you're right.
that's just consumerism in general. I mean, if you have a thing,
People will
why
throw
not
enough.
Why not access like the full?
People will throw enough money as it takes after they've invested the original chunk just to make them feel good inside.
Exactly. And the fact that they say $5 a month is like to the average gamer is like, oh well, it's only $5 more, and I can do all this. So it's like to them it kind of justifies it. So it's like they go ahead and then they pay all this money and then
It's
they
like
realize,
live is
they realize
like
they've been paying this $5 a month for like 7 years and it's like
live is that
shit.
well, you don't. That'd just be stupid to do that way. You do it like it's like $60 a year.
$60 a year.
Yeah, $60 a year.
It
Used to be.
It used to be 50.
It used to
and
be
they
50.
jacked it up.
Well, that's like 3 used games, bro. But that doesn't matter now.
It's like 3 used games, but who's counting? I mean, whatever. Who's counting?
Microsoft.
I'm like, it doesn't matter now for Microsoft. And I'm like, if you own an Xbox One. But everything that was said about this system has not been good. There is nothing to
me,
look forward
it's
to with this fucking
It's
system.
like-
It's like if you're an Xbox fan, that's fine.
What it comes down to is there's been normally when something releases, there's usually like 2 sides of the coin. There's another side of the fence. The grass is green on the other side. All that shit. In this case, everything they've said, we're not spinning that in a negative light. That's just how it came out.
Exactly. We are only
Installing
we are only personifying the actual implications of the things that these people have actually been saying. I feel like if you're an Xbox fan, that's fine. You can do that. Like for all intents and purposes, that's fine. Be an Xbox fan.
That's fine because like
Be like,
everyone's.
oh man, Xbox One. Like I was telling you before that. My one friend after the press conference was like, oh man, Xbox One.
Yeah, because look, Craig, the way you have to think about it is, you say like, okay, you're an Xbox One fan, that's fine. I think there's plenty of masochists in the world.
I'm just saying, like, you can be an Xbox One fan, that's fine.
This gets me all hot and bothered.
I just want you to actually like sit down and actually think about this. Like,
yeah, I've never believed
what is actually happening to you as a gamer.
Yeah, because
if you consider yourself a gamer,
because I've never looked at it like from a brand loyalty perspective, where I was saying like, oh, I'm gonna get the next Xbox. Of course I have to. Like,
granted,
no,
I'm not gonna lie. I've always bought the PlayStation first, but I own a 360. I went out and bought a 360 because I wanted a 360. So I'm not saying like I am pure Sony.
Those were
Sony.
Those were simpler times, Craig. You could just buy an Xbox back then and just fucking play it.
Fucking life and shit.
And you know they came off the original Xbox, and that wasn't like necessarily a bad console. So there was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it an Xbox.
Exactly. It was like I'm just saying like this so.
And you know, for what it's worth at the time, Xbox Live was pretty cool.
I'm just saying, as a gamer, you just have to like kind of like take the facts in and think about what's actually happening to you. Like is all the choices that Microsoft is making right for you? And if it is, I mean, if you're all down for everything, if you don't share your games with anybody, if you feel like you're just a solitary
I can tell
gamer,
you right now, not no one, but many Xbox fans are not going to look at the choices and make decisions based on that. Because this has been going on for longer than just the Xbox One press conference. Because when you look at it from the original perspective that the Xbox 360 came out, you had a console come out where they had a proprietary hard drive. If you wanted to charge your fucking wireless or your wireless controller, you needed to buy a play and charge kit.
They nickel and dime the shit out
Yeah.
of you.
we didn't even talk about that.
No, let me finish. I'm not done. There's one more. You had the Xbox remote to use to control if you wanted to fucking watch DVDs. You had the separate HD DVD attachment if you wanted to watch DVDs. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
No, I agree.
You support HD DVDs and the console doesn't even play movies?
Listen,
I agree.
If you bought the system,
You didn't even have built-in networking, so you had to blow $100 for a fucking wireless.
If you think about it, you spent $99 for a system. You spend another $99 for Wi-Fi, another $99 for HD DVD, which doesn't even work on the 360 anymore, by the way, by firmware update for whatever fucking reason. And then you got to count in Xbox Live. And the funny thing about this is you're not even done yet. You're already at $360. 360. You're already at $360. I didn't even realize that. Coincidence, baby. You're already at $360 before a charging kit, before a game. You're at $360. But you have to understand that even if somebody gave you a charge for free, even if someone gave you a game for free, you're paying Xbox Live that next year, and then the year after that, and the year after that. So you essentially paid more money than you would have had any other console to have those same.
And not only that. That console launched with proprietary hard drive. That was only 20 gigabytes.
Thank you.
Okay, 20 fucking gigabytes, and you had to
store in what? Which is what is that store?
20 gigabytes. They also sold a memory card at one point or another before they started introducing these $60 fucking USB drives. For Jesus fucking Christ, I don't know why they would. Now, not only that, there's more. There was the Xbox Live Vision camera. The one that was so shitty and blurry, you had to rotate the thing to make it like clear. And then what happened to that shit? I'm pretty sure Move is based off of iToy, which came out in like 2004 or some shit. So I already so if I bought a Move, I was like, oh good, this iToy I bought like 5 years ago finally paid off again. And then now it's like Kinect comes out like, no, it's a different camera.
Maybe that camera you bought before, throw that shit away. I got this shit.
Throw it away. Nobody's using it for nothing except jerking off on Uno anyways.
Alright.
That happened to me!
Alright, we're rounding off.
You can't even play a game of Uno without somebody busting into a camera.
we're rounding off on 2 hours.
Oh, man.
Just to close out, I wanted to just say something because I said beforehand. This is something both Edwin, I think you told me about it before we even actually started the freaking podcast. I didn't even know about this shit. Another thing I didn't know about, fact that, I mean, I kind of want to close out because, like I said, we're rounding off on 2 hours.
Go ahead.
How the fuck
I don't know.
Are you on a next gen console going to have a controller that is going to require batteries?
Thank you.
Forget about that.
Yeah, I literally just remembered. How the fuck?
Thank
who? What is this? Like, where you want to talk about progression in technology? I can wave my hands at my fucking TV and turn on my fucking console.
Thank you.
But I still need to fucking power my controller with fucking AA batteries?
You know,
what kind of nonsense is this?
Yeah, I pictured it too. It's like, it's all fancy, man. You take off the back cover of the controller and they got the little rolled up piece of paper in there and you pull it out. That's the end to put the batteries in.
Pretty much.
Fucking bullshit.
That's why you got the piece of paper, because it's easier to pull the batteries out, Akash.
It's just fucking nonsense.
Ghetto is what it is.
Like I said,
it's like you're going to be finding the system at a CVS near you. That's the feeling.
You're going to be able to buy this console at Walgreens.
That is harsh. That is rough. But we are rounding out on 2 hours. It is a extremely long Xbox One special episode of Into the Foxhole.
Fears confirmed.
Fears confirmed.
And one last thing we'd like to leave out, just to clarify all the whole used game business that's going on. They did say that they're going to have their own little market thing. They didn't really go into deep detail, but they did say that.
So many things you left out.
They said that there's going to be some way you could put your used games on there, that you could sell the code. There's some way that you could do it, but it's going to be off of Xbox Live. Now, you would have to take this in consideration. If it's off of Xbox Live, it doesn't mean that you could sell for whatever you feel like it. In fact, if it's at a set price, it'd be far worse. People complain about GameStop all the time. This would be far worse. You don't need to go to GameStop. You could go to Amazon. You could go anywhere to buy used games.
To me, I feel like
it's the idea that this will be on one network. So
it almost comes down to the fact like
they'll control all the prices.
Yeah, like it almost comes down to the fact like Microsoft's like, man, freaking other companies are making GameFly's making money.
Thank you.
I can do this. I can make money. I can make more money than what I'm making now.
So why not
just do what GameFly is doing? I can do that with my I fucking make the console.
You know how many times I wake up in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror and say, "You can do this, Xbox."
I feel like the Microsoft executive is like waking up in the morning, he's like looking at stocks, like, "Oh my god, GameFly exists." Gotta do something about that.
No, they said.
I gotta change
I feel
like some of that money should be mine.
I feel those GameStop. Excuse me.
GameStop. Oh yeah, GameStop.
GameStop.
Yeah, gotta fix that, man.
GameStop was where it started. It was where they were kind of like, these guys are making too much money. Microsoft says that they will support used games, but the problem everybody got is, look, nail's already in the coffin with this.
It's all gonna be internalized.
We kept making jokes like saying, okay, look, Microsoft nailed this. in the coffin. No, but they dug into that review.
We never.
Or my favorite, Xbox One. The one system leading you towards a PlayStation 4. So all these things that happen with the whole used game thing, the fact that you have to install it on a hard drive, or the idea that there has to be something to verify the code, or the idea that you sell the code online to their store.
Yeah.
Now, they've come out and said to GameStop that, yeah, Microsoft will support used games. Never said retail, never said GameStop.
Yeah.
So when they say
GameStop.
Support used games, I mean in what respect?
No,
because
there's no way in hell that if GameStop's if Microsoft is controlling their shit that heavy, that GameStop's gonna see an inch of that.
And listen to it like this. If they were to come out and they were to say we're supporting it in some respect, we're gonna go get the retail games in, and you're able to get the retail game and buy it. And then you're able to go online and then put in whatever used code you got. It doesn't really matter. You're buying it twice. And it's as simple as the whole passcode thing. Though EA games use passcode, you can buy that game at a store used. How could you use it?
Right,
you're buying it twice. So you're essentially buying the store, and then bam, you now have to buy this passcode. Is this what they mean? Because shit me, that's even fucking worse if this is what they mean. Because that means you'll not only buy the fucking game used, and pay whatever price you're going to pay on top of whatever price that they're going to be paying, which is clearly not going to go down because it has no reason to go down.
And there's no way, there's no way in hell that these prices, like you're not going to see someone selling a new game and all of a sudden you see it like for $30 on Microsoft Live, on Xbox Live. There's no way in hell. You're going to see this game. You're going to see this game literally for $55 for, I promise you, for fucking forever. Just the same way GameStop does. You're gonna see this game for $55 forever. You're gonna like freaking the freaking games I want to like. Oh, it's like you look at a fucking Mario Party game.
Thank you.
I try to look at Mario Party 8 because there are people that I could play Mario Party 8 with. I feel like there's a lot of people I could play Mario Party 8 with. I feel I would enjoy it. I decided maybe I can go out and buy Mario Party 8. I'm fucking like, how old is that fucking game? Mario Party 9 is already out. Mario Party 8 at GameStop is literally like $55.
Yes.
Like, I don't fucking get it. To tell me, if you want to tell me that Microsoft is going to be any different in this approach,
that's their bullshit.
You're just deluding yourself.
Think about it like this. When was the last time any of you guys saw a fucking Xbox Live or a PSN? A full download PSN game, meaning a retail game as a download. Go down in price.
Bullshit. Nothing.
Listen to this. Well, so Burnout Paradise came out. Burnout Paradise is still $20 on PSN.
Really?
That game sucks.
This was several years ago.
I mean,
it's still $20. They're not lowering their prices. They ain't no damn reasonable. It's a digital game. What happened? They got overhead on stock. There's too much of them in the warehouse. They got no reason to lower the shit.
Good or not, it has zero inflect on how you price that game.
That's a very good. That's a true blue economical point right there.
Yes. Well,
it's just not going to happen. You're not going to see these games go down in price. And who's going to suffer?
Well, this is because there's you don't have this scenario where the store bought too many copies and they need to sell this shit or something like that, or the game didn't turn out as good as it turned out, and then they need to get rid of the shit real fast. Yeah. They don't need to fucking liquidate this shit. It's like it's just it's a digital download and it's just sitting there. What's the worst they can do? It's like people who have a fucking game that they don't care to sell, so they just list it on Amazon for like $80 and they hope that some dumbass buys it.
Yeah.
And somebody.
That's gonna happen. Someone's going to.
Gosh, that's how you do it, bro.
No, someone's going to.
Do it like that.
It's like,
it's not gonna pay off. But when it does,
it's like, there's a copy of Donkey Kong Country 2 in the box for $1,000 on Amazon.
It's like, well, that game is old.
Don't get me wrong. Mint condition is expensive, but I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive.
No, I mean,
it was more like $500.
Yeah, to me personally, if you're paying $1,000 for Donkey Kong Country 2, I mean, yeah,
better come with real monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
doing tricks and shit.
Like little secret between me and you. Don't buy that game for $1,000. It's just not right. But I mean,
doing tricks and shit.
Boy, sure do feel sorry for people who bought a copy of.
Microsoft is going to have their own used game market, and that's what they kind of want. I feel like you can say that, oh yeah, maybe this is going to combat. Maybe used game prices will go down, but why? I mean, if Xbox games are, is this the only way you can buy a used Xbox game? What's the point of me lowering the price? Why to me? Sure, I'll let you go buy the game for $60 in retail. That's fine. But if you want to buy it used, you can buy it $55. on my store, sure, whatever. It's $55. It's cheaper than what you might get it in the store, but it's still pretty fucking expensive.
Yes.
To me, there's no reason for me to lower the price if it's on my own market, and this is the only fucking place you can.
But you know what? It's when you think about it in that regard, and when you actually run the numbers through your head that this is actual money that you're losing. You really get this sensation. Like I just thought in my head, I'm like, damn, I can't wait to own a PlayStation. That's what I literally thought. I'm not even saying that as a I'm not even saying
like how are developers going to feel about this? Granted, Xbox. I mean, they say like, oh yeah, used game market is taking money away from the developer. Say I have a third party game. Say Activision. They want to, or Ubisoft. Let's say Ubisoft wants to release an Assassin's Creed game on the Xbox One. They release Xbox One. Person buys it for $60. Fantastic. They sell it. They sell it to the Xbox One store. Who's gonna get that money? That $55 that someone buys it used. You think Microsoft's gonna give that money to Ubisoft?
I think a portion of it's
I think
Ubisoft,
there's definitely a case where they'll have to pay money to Ubisoft.
Yes, I believe they will pay money
because
to
you have to pay money to have that game to be distributed on that platform.
It was third parties to begin with, so they're going to get a percentage of that for that to happen. The biggest problem I'm having for this is everybody who's putting on the whole, cry parade and the whole let's play the violin theme for the developers because they're losing money from GameStop.
It is bullshit.
I've never agreed with that.
You purchased the game once. Our agreement was, hey, I like your game and I'll pay $60 to have it. Now that I have it, wherever the fuck I sell it to is wherever the fuck I sell it
exactly.
to. Now, the idea of them getting profit, if I'm selling it to them at their store, okay, that makes sense because you are getting it back.
Exactly.
But the problem I'm having
you are putting no extra effort into this,
yes.
Yet you want to make more money off of it?
So I look at it like this. The only logical way they could make more money from it is if I'm selling it to them directly to the store.
Yeah.
EA does. EA actually does that. They have a program where you can send, not even Origin, it's this other program where you could send your games to them and you get money. So if you feel like saying, you know what, I'll trade my games in for EA points or whatever, how it works, that's a way they do it. So you could say, I'll trade my physical console game in for the new PC EA game so I could get Origin points or however the fuck they do on there. So that's a great thing. So that works towards them. I understand why you're getting money. You took a product that was of value to me and now it's yours. So now everybody wants to start, all of a sudden, gaming is no longer a physical thing no more. All of a sudden, you're fucking leasing games now. All of a sudden, you're paying to play the right to play a game. No. Gaming, honestly, is to the way the movie industry is, like a DVD. You're essentially buying the actual thing to use as many times as you feel like it. I'm not saying you can't keep it. I'm not saying that you could bring it to somebody else and just copy it many times. I'm saying it is yours to keep, get rid of, do what you feel just. They're trying to make games sound like it's something to be leased, that you're playing the experience. So by giving that game to Julian or Julian giving you that game, you're buying the experience. You bought the experience for $60 to trade to whoever you feel.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So it's almost like saying the whole theater.
Because
you go to a movie theater, let's say to watch a movie, and that, the experience of being in the theater is what you paid for. Clearly, you can't just come back for free the next day.
Yeah.
Or say I bought a ticket, but that's not what gaming is. But that's what they're trying to make it sound like.
Is this like you're trying to say like, oh yeah, you're paying for a movie, but in the fact that I'm actually paying for the DVD. Me having the DVD is completely different than me going to a movie theater.
I know, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And people don't really get that. If they try to go with this whole idea of you're trying to lease a game or you're paying for the privilege to play a game, if they try to go to this type of understanding, what stops them from saying there's now a subscription to play Call of Duty? There's now a subscription to play
they already tried that.
Yes. Instead of stopping them from saying you have to play a subscription for every online game. Why? Because you're playing the privilege to play their game. Now, so you're no longer buying the experience for whatever.
Well, we know for a fact that doesn't work, though. Like as you can see in the MMO market.
They're going to try it. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to try to do a whole pay-to-play thing where you play for every playthrough or you play for X number of hours. That's what they're going to try to do. Because once you start saying gaming is a thing to be leased, you're not paying for the experience, it's no different than a theater. Simply because you pay for pay-per-view movies, right? You pay to go see an event at a soccer match, right? So you're going to be paying to play. That's what they're trying to aim at. If gaming is leased, that's what they're going to try to say. So people are clearly...
a soccer match.
People are going to clearly fight against this. People are going to try to, go against whatever it is, but the whole used game discussion is for another day. That's a discussion that's complex. That's as complex.
Yeah, it is complex.
Talking about this, fiasco.
Again, I said this about like 15 minutes ago, but it's about 2 hours. I just want to go ahead and wrap it up. Any final thoughts, anybody?
This has been a mega cast of epic proportion.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the longer casts you're probably going to actually get from us. I don't ever plan to have a 2-hour cast ever again.
I want to.
Unless like... Yeah, I mean, like, if it's like some big ass shit.
If it's something megaton, I would say expect it to be as
well, yeah, I mean, if there's enough information, because literally, like, we've had enough information to talk about.
Yeah, we were by no means stretching the content
we
out.
have more information.
Yeah.
I know, like, I really feel like that's why I kind of want to stop at, like, an hour, like, maybe we can, like, divide this into, like, multiple episodes, but this is fine. Like, yeah, we're going
No, because it's all themed into one episode is the thing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Everything has to be.
But, like, yeah, we're hitting, like, we're about to hit 2:05.
Yeah, okay. So we're
again,
wrapping it up. This has been Into the Foxhole podcast.
Hope you enjoyed it. This is Craig signing out.
This is Edwin. Fears have been confirmed.
This is Akash. Where the fuck are my games?
Oh, you should have said fears confirmed. That's